Hello, good morning. Welcome to this webcast. My name is Xavier. I'm the managing director for Gamma in Spain. So as you probably know, Gamma in Spain is a company that we started in the market in 2003 with another brand. Our original brand was Voz Telecom, so we have been in the market for many years. And in 2020, we were acquired by Gamma, a leading communication company in UK. And we are here today to talk about our recent partnership with Cisco, about Cisco Webex product. And we are very happy to explain today the opportunity for the channel partners and what the channel partners and the end customers can benefit from Webex. And to talk about Webex, I'm here with Marcel. He will introduce by himself. And we plan to invest the next 35-40 minutes to give you all the necessary insights about the product, about Gamma, and about the opportunity for the channel partners to sell the product to the end customers. Please, Marcel, if you want to introduce yourself.
Muchas gracias, Xavi. Good morning, everyone. My name is Marcel Kardol. I work for Cisco. I'm responsible for all the telecom service providers in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And I'm specifically very proud of our partnership with Gamma.
Okay, thank you, Marcel. So let's start with the three topics that I would like to comment and discuss today, and to get your feedback about the Webex. But before to talk about Webex, I would like to make give you some insights about the market and how the evolution of the communication market for the business segment. Okay, so Gamma and Voz Telecom in Spain, when we started in 2003, so we have been addressing the SMB market, which is the enterprise market, providing communication solutions. And today, in 2025, it's obvious for everyone that its communication solutions adoptions into the SMB are completely different about what we were offering in 2003 when we were innovating into that space. So in 2003, for example, Skype didn't exist.
No.
But today, Skype doesn't exist anymore. So in 25 years, so this is a good example about how the communications has changed. In 2003, we saw the main product adopted by the companies were the traditional PBX at the time, digital PBX or analog PBXs.
Yeah.
Today, in many countries, it doesn't exist anymore. So what we have seen in the communication space in 25 years, we can summarize in a five-year waves in terms of technology adoption into the business. So if we go back to 2000, in the 2000s, we started with the voice over IP technology. The traditional products adopted by the companies were the Citran to connect the original Cisco boxes, implementing voice over IP, the IPPBX, the communication call managers, to connect with the telephony network. So we started in Voz Telecom, and Gamma started in UK providing the Citran. And after 5 years, 2005, the technology evolved, and it was possible to move the traditional PBX into the cloud. So then cloud adoption became to be the normal way to adopt communications in the company. And we started to offer the cloud PBX solution. Gamma in UK, Voz Telecom in Spain in 2008. Voz Telecom in Spain, we were the first in Europe offering a reliable PBX substitution from the cloud for the SMB. But this was the first step, the first wave of new technologies in the communication space. And 5 years later, in around 2010, mobile became part of the solution. So we started to see how the mobile started to converge with the cloud PBX. And we were starting to talk about fixed mobile solution, fixed mobile convergence.
Yep.
And the companies were starting to ask with one single solution, having fixed, mobile, and the cloud PBX. So this was the third wave of let's say, voice over IP technology. And then 5 years later, we started to see how collaboration could start to be adopted by companies. And we started to talk about UCAS. So this is an English word that we don't have to translate in Spanish, right? But it's unified communication as a service. We are not talking only about telephony. We are talking about messaging, video, file sharing. So this is to put in one single solution all the different formats, communication formats that the user and the companies need. So and this was the UCAS concept and the CCAS concept. CCAS is to C, which is call center as a service. So we started to see that telephony was only one of the parts of the solution.
Then it was not connected and not integrated.
Exactly. And then we need to put other formats to communicate the people in the companies and the people with partners. And then in 2020, we see another big disruption on the market. It was not COVID, unfortunately, but it was Microsoft Teams. So at that time, Teams was adopted massively by the companies, starting to see that it was possible to interact with people with video in a very easy way into your desktop, into your laptop, and to see how telephony and collaboration became one single solution. And this changed the buyer behavior from the customers. And this is what we saw in 2020, that the evolution came from the original SIP trunk, ending for a full solution for collaboration, integrating telephony, messaging, and video conferencing, integrating rooms. And during this wave, we have seen different vendors, different partners, and they have made the evolution of their products. And we have seen that Webex, during all of these waves, and Cisco has been adopting and developing solutions to give the answers to the customers.
Correct.
All the time aligned with this wave. But now we are in 2025, the last frontier in the communications space. So what's now in the market, what we see in the communications space for the companies is the AI magic word, right? Everyone is talking about AI in all the sectors, in all the segments, but telecom is not different. So in telecom, AI could be another wave of technology, not only for the companies itself, but for the end customers. All the customers who are now looking for communication solutions are asking about what can AI help us in our communication solution, right? So this is why I think in 25 years, if we talk about communications, now we see that the market demand and what the companies are asking for is completely different about what they were asking 25 years ago. But the good news for the partners and for the customers is that Cisco has been in the market for all these 25 years.
This year we celebrate our 40th birthday.
40th birthday.
But Webex 30th birthday.
30 years. Wow. Yeah. Gamma was in UK, started in 2008, Post Telecom 2003. So we have long experience too. And now I think that the partnership that we have is with companies. It's a good momentum for Gamma to bring the Webex solution to our customers and in our different markets, and to provide through Webex what the customers are demanding today, which is telephony, collaborations, integration in Teams, fixed mobile convergence, and the last frontier, which is AI solutions, right? So I think this is something that gives today a good insight about the UCAS market and the CCAS market, and the opportunity that we have in Spain specifically, and in Europe, but now we're talking about the Spanish market, is about the growth potential of this market. So UCAS penetration in Spain, some analysts are predicting that in 5 years' time, it will be more than 85% of the companies will use these services.
Yeah.
Today is a little bit more than half, 50%, half of the companies are using UCAS. But and when we talk about CCAS, which are more advanced features or customer experience features demanded by the companies, this is the most expected growth market segment that we can see. And Webex give answers to all of these things.
Correct.
Right? So how do you see the situation today in the market in Europe, specifically about the UCAS space and what the customers demands?
Right. So in Europe, I mean, I just said Cisco exists for 40 years. We always have been a networking company in the initial days, but then we started to acquire companies such as Webex, BroadSoft in 2018. And that gave us all the ingredients to build a UCaaS platform that is widely adopted across Europe. We are the market leader globally. We have more than 51% of all the UCaaS seats globally on our platforms. And you mentioned SMB customers, they are looking for the cloud. The interesting thing is the cloud used to be, it didn't matter if it was in a Cisco data center or it was in your data center. That didn't matter. The problem now is with AI, it is almost impossible to get all the AI capabilities and AI skill in the SP's data centers. And that's what we see at the moment. Luckily, we see our BroadSoft base, so the sort of the traditional voice base, still growing, single digits. But the growth in what we now call Webex calling wholesale, that is the platform which is now adopted by Gamma in the UK, in Germany, and we're launching this now in Spain. That growth is spectacular. We see partners that grow their customers 1% per week instead of 7% per year on the BroadWorks base. And that is a spectacular growth. This has to do with the fact that we have jammed so many AI capabilities and features in the platform, which you usually do not even see. They deliver what we call proprietary features and outcomes to customers, to SMB customers. And that's where you need the skill of a global platform, and that's the Webex platform. Luckily, 30 years old, but evolving.
Mm-hmm. You said that BroadSoft is one of the market leader product too for many years has been, and now Webex is the new proposition from Cisco, right? So there is a lot of hype in AI, and you have been talking about the reason why AI is needed to be delivered from the cloud, right, to the cloud. But how Webex, in addition of the AI, but how Webex is supporting the traditional needs for the SMB market, right? Because customers needs to call, voice, video, messaging, integrations in Teams. So how the Cisco position in Webex to say, okay, let's support the traditional communication needs, or the UCaaS and CCaaS traditional needs, and put on top the new innovation through AI.
I'm going to use your introduction. What we have seen in the market is that a lot of companies, they have adopted a PBX solution, they have adopted a meeting solution, they have a messaging solution, they have a contact center solution. The problem is that they are very often not integrated with each other. And what you then see is that there's no context flowing between an incoming phone call, an escalation internal with messaging, escalating into other teams. Then there needs to be a meeting. Again, there's no context. And then it goes to a contact center, it goes to campaigns, it goes to file sharing, etc., etc. So what the market needs, and especially in SMB, where very often the general manager is the IT manager, is the network manager. I mean, that is in micro SMB. In slightly larger companies, you have different roles, but it is overly complicated if you want to manage a unified communication platform with all these capabilities in standalone products. So what we've done is Webex. Our calling engine is based on BroadWorks. That has evolved. So Webex calling under the hood is the BroadWorks engine that is serving more than half of the market today. It sits in the Cisco cloud. Webex as a meetings platform is 30 years old. That has evolved with tons of features and capabilities. It has all the AI features, transcription, translation, things like note-taking. I think we delivered 200 features over the last 24 months, and we just had Webex 1 in San Diego. We have announced what is coming. It is incredible. But the bottom line is, with Webex, you have all these unified communications capabilities in one proposition. And specifically for partners like Gamma, we want to put this in hands of the resellers, the channel in Spain, because let's talk about go-to-market for a second. Our most successful partners are the ones that are working with local IT integrators, because SMBs like to buy from SMBs. That is the trend that we see in Europe all over. So our most successful partners in this space have a established indirect channel, and are able to support the channel partners. So that is a success factor, because they can also add customization. maybe there needs to be something with language models or with a knowledge base, especially when we start in the next evolution of this platform, which is coming next year, early next year. You mentioned it. You're going to add contact center as a service on top of the Webex platform as well. That allows you, as an IT company, to work with SMB customers, with market customers, to also empower their contact center with AI-driven quality management, with all the contextual information from an inbound call into the contact center and help customers more efficiently.
So, really, really interesting, Marcel. So you've talked a little bit about the point 2 and 3. Point 2 was the futures, and then point 3 is the go-to-market with partners. But finishing the point 1, I think you have already mentioned. I think, and I agree with you. One of the key drivers for Webex, which is this one single solution for the company that can support the different user behaviors. That's very important for the companies today. Because if we look into the traditional PBX, we had in the past the same IP phone on the table, and the device was the same device for everyone in the company.
Yeah.
So now the reality is different. So now in the company, we have salespeople on the street, we have people in customer support, we have people in the administration team, we have people doing teleworking. So all the user behavior is completely different depending on the function in the companies. So this is what you said. There are today, the companies still today have been adopting different solutions in silos. And now Webex gives you one single solution, one single point of contact for the user, which is the Webex app in your desktop or Webex app in your mobile. And everything puts in the same platform. And then you can select specifically the type of functionality or functions that the user needs in their day-to-day work. So I think this is one of the key elements for customers and for channel partners, that to have the skills and experience to have one single solution to be implemented into their customers, right? So I think this is one of the good drivers to adopt Webex. Sorry. The second one, I think, is what we can think about for the next 5 years, right? So I talk about the last 25 years. So the driver, the adoption of the UCaaS and the voice over IP, most of the time has been, let's say, efficiency and cost reduction in the early days of voice over IP. But now what we see is that for the next 5 years, the real driver to adopt Webex or solutions like communication solutions in companies, the driver will be the AI features, because companies are looking for something in addition to the communication, something that could help them to improve their business, to improve their customers and suppliers interactions, to improve their day-to-day operations. So, and in the same way that software and IT was providing to companies 50 years ago, right? So AI will be the driver.
There's another element to this, and I think this is a bit science fiction, but this is already happening at the moment. In voice, it used to be an interaction between a person or a human and a human. And we are now in this stage where you can have human interaction with an AI agent in natural language. And imagine what that means for an SMB. Why does an SMB customer needs to pick up the phone to make an appointment? That can be driven by an AI agent speaking in multiple languages, important for me living in Spain, and take that task away. And the next wave of this is that even AI agents can start talking to AI agents in the backend. And we had a demo in San Diego where there was actually an AI agent that was going to talk to Jira, an application, to create a ticket into a ticketing system. And that is just an example where human to human, human to AI, and AI to AI, that is what we will see in the next 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
We call this connected intelligence, by the way.
Mm-hmm. So that's one of the significant parts of the Cisco Webex roadmap that you are presenting into the market, and where Cisco is investing a lot of money and resources quarter by quarter to improve the Webex functionality, because calling functionalities are already there, right? So it has been there for 25, 30 years. Now the next innovation for the companies are how to easily integrate these tools, right? I think this is the role of Gamma, in the partnership with Cisco, right? To make it easy for partners to go to market with the solution and to make it easy for the end customers to adopt and to implement these solutions. So to help the customers for the transitioning from the old communication systems into the new Webex solutions.
A good example there would be an AI agent. We have tools available where the customer can basically design their own AI agent. They can feed that AI agent with information, with rails, or sort of guardrails, what the agent can do and cannot do. That can be quite complicated. But if one of your partners can sit down with an SMB customer and they do that kind of work front end with that SMB customer, the outcomes can be spectacular.
Mm-hmm. So then, do you think that we are more closer now to the software business rather than the telecom business, probably?
The telecom business remains, but that is just sort of the engine under the surface. I think what we will see more is that customers' buying behavior will be based on how can I drive more customer satisfaction? How can I drive more efficiency? So things that optimize. And in Spain, we have 3.4 million SMB customers, right? And that includes micro. It's a huge base. Luckily, the economy is growing the fastest in the European Union at the moment. So the opportunity is very vast. And luckily, I think Gamma is at the moment at the forefront of this wave in Spain. So that is exciting for us as well.
Okay, good. Thanks for your insight. So I would like to close the point number 2 about the roadmap for Webex, right? So now we have started to see some use case from some of our customers starting to use the AI capabilities in Cisco. But one of the values that the operator and Gamma are providing to the Webex customers is the fixed mobile integration.
Yeah.
Because as we talked before, fixed telephony, mobile telephony has been completely different silos. So it has been seen as a different solution for the customer. In their heads, they are looking about the fixed numbering, and then they are looking to subscribe for the mobile. So when we talk about Webex and with the fixed mobile integration that Gamma has with Webex, so the customer doesn't need to choose between if it's a fixed landline or if it's mobile. So what I need is a device.
Yeah.
Then the device could be, and more the device will be only your computer, your laptop, and your mobile device. But then you need the same experience across the different devices that you're using from everywhere.
Yeah.
And then all the functionalities that you are asking from the Webex, coming from the call control or AI transcript or AI summarization, you expect this in any device. So this is key. This is why it's key that the mobile has to be network integrated into the Webex in the same way as the voice calls from the landline are supported by Webex. So, and this is one of the solutions that Gamma, with the agreement with Cisco, is providing to our customers, that they can use Webex in any device, fixed phones, computer, and mobile device. And if the mobile device uses the Gamma SIM cards as an MVNO, which is Gamma, then we have a native integration that any call that you place or receive to your mobile line is a call that goes through Webex. That means all the functionality that the Webex has for the calling can be applied for the mobile calls. The basic one is call recording, for example. So if you want to make call recording, call analysis, summarization, transcript, then you can do it. It doesn't matter if you are receiving the calls into your mobile number.
And that is super important. We have markets in Europe where there is actually no landline sold anymore, like in the Nordics. So the ability, and I think that's another element of the Webex platform, even though we would like all companies and all businesses to buy the entire stack, Cisco also strongly believes that interoperability with other network, with other vendors is critical as well. And you have used our integration capabilities, our APIs, for something spectacular. That is something that is really working well.
Okay, so we can invest a lot of time talking about the roadmap, but that's not the unique purpose of this of this meeting. So let's go to the next point, which is, I think it's important. It's about, you mentioned a little bit before, which is about the go-to-market. Okay, so how is the strategy for Gamma and for Cisco to arrive to the end customer, to the end user? How is the go-to-market? And the DNA of Gamma and Gamma in UK and in Europe and Spain is we have been working since our early days through channel partners. Yeah. So if both Telecom was successful in the Spanish market since our early days, and why Gamma has been very successful in UK has been thanks to the very close relationship with the channel partners, because channel partners are in the day-to-day relations with customers. They know the customers trust with the partners. And what we have been all the time very focused is to make the life easier for partners, delivering the right technology and solutions to the end users, and to support them to win money. That's what the partners at the end they want. They want the best products with good price, good support from their suppliers, and to develop a business line, a business case for their customer base, helping their customers to migrate and helping them to adopt the different waves of technology, right? So, and now is why we see that channel partners in Spain and in Europe, they have a tremendous opportunity to be into the starting line in 2025 till 2030, where communication solutions are changing dramatically the way the customers are adopting. So if they don't choose the right product and the right partner, they will probably have difficulties to compete into the market against others. And I think now Gamma with Cisco Webex, we have the best proposition for them to help their customers to adopt the new solutions and the new technology. So, and this is why Gamma signed this deal and has made this approach, not only in Spain, it's an approach for UK, it's a European approach to provide Cisco Webex to all of our channel partners, the existing ones, and to develop the market, recruiting new ones that they are selling other products from other vendors, but to convince them to get with us and to see how Webex can help to grow their business. So, and channel partners has been one of the DNIs of Cisco for many years, right? So
you can even say it may be one of our issues, because we are so dedicated to partners like Gamma and other telecom operators. We don't have the brand recognition in the market, such as other vendors, but that is also because what the platform that Gamma has in hands is what we call Webex calling wholesale. It is a branded offer from Gamma to end customers. We are the engine in the back end, so our strength is also our weakness, but we are completely investing in these service providers because we believe, and we see that happening, that this is the right way to go to market. There are vendors, you mentioned one of them, they have an indirect play, they have a direct play, and sometimes you have sold stuff to an end customer and then they take it direct. That is happening. So that creates sort of channel conflicts. We are 100% dedicated to the channel, and the platform that we have built and launched 3 years ago is Webex calling wholesale. That is designed for service providers, but it has an additional management layer in the platform where the channel partners can manage their own customers to the full extent. So the management capabilities, and I think we need to zoom in on that in a separate session, do some demos on it, because one thing is to sell something, but giving you the controls to manage your customers, supported by the channel partner capabilities that Gamma brings to the table to support partners in a verbal way or in a technical way. We deliver the platform to make this all happen.
Yeah, I think this is one of the key points for the channel partners, because channel partners, they want to manage the end customer by themselves. Sure. And they want to provide the best service as possible to differentiate from others, right? So then, and Cisco Webex provides them the control hub. That's the magic name too. Yeah. So the partners will discover in the following webcast. So through the control hub, the channel partners, they have full control about the Webex configuration, the Webex licensing, and all the Webex features that they can activate or deactivate
Correct.
per user and per customer, right? So this is one of the key tools that the channel partners they need.
Yep.
And of course, then they need all the operators' capabilities to provisioning the service, which is the telephony, numbering, mobile lines, and let's say the technical support that they need. If there is anything that they need to configure the product or to adapt the solution to the end user, then Gamma can provide them for all of this, let's say, partner support that we have developed for many years working with partners.
100%. And a key element in this, because it's such a fast-moving market, is we are helping Gamma also with education programs that you can apply and localize to the channel partners, because there's so much going on. There's so much new things, new capabilities that are enhancing the platform. So that education of channel partners is something that we are very, very much a lot investing into as well.
Yeah. Education and training is key.
Yeah.
Should sit into the market. So Webex is not a single PBX in the cloud. It's a much more complex product because I said it supports different use cases.
Yeah.
And you have to understand the customer needs, and then you need to be trained to identify what we can use from Webex to give the right answer to the end customers, right? So this is what we can support the channel partners for a deep training, technical sessions, and helping them into the customers transitioning from the traditional telephony system into the new one, and specifically to help them to migrate existing bases. So this is another thing, another strategy that Cisco puts in the hands of the partners, giving them tools to help in the migration, right?
It is happening at the moment. There are a lot of what we call these point solution vendors in markets, let's say calling platforms, that are, those vendors are in bankruptcy state or in an unknown state or in sort of debt restructuring state. They are de-investing in some of the technology that is deployed in telecom operators. So we see a huge market consolidation at the moment. And what Xavier and I discussed recently is the fact that the market consolidation is happening. And obviously we have tools, capabilities, and programs to also support channel partners and yourselves with these migrations of these platforms. So that is very important. That is another part of the wave, is that there may be a shake-up in the vendor landscape, because not everybody has the sort of the depth or the investment capabilities to ride this AI wave satisfactorily. And one thing about Cisco is, and I'm now stepping out of collaboration, everything you see at the moment in the messaging around Cisco, we are very heavily involved in empowering the biggest AI companies in the world with infrastructure. We have our own chips, we have our partnership with NVIDIA. So we are big in AI infrastructure. So AI is a massive theme in Cisco overall. And luckily we see a lot of that coming to life in our collaboration portfolio.
So I think we have now 5 minutes to finish the webcast. Only as a conclusion, maybe talking a little bit more about the partners and the evolution of the technology. One of the things that I think it's important for Gamma when we address the channel partners is that thinking about their role. Okay, we talk about the role of the channel partners to manage the end customer. So during these 25 years, technology has changed, but the role of the partner hasn't changed. I think this is completely different, right? So because channel partners needs the technology and the products that the customer demands. What now has changed is the customer demands. So customer demands and the adoption drivers are changing. Yeah. So then channel partners need to change, adopting the solutions that the customers are demanding now or that the customers will demand in the next 5-year time, right? And I think now the Webex and Webex for Gamma is the solution, and we have packaged the solution and created the solution for these channel partners to make possible to give to the end users what is demanded today.
What we know is that this works, and so when Gamma launched this in Germany and England, I will not talk about numbers, that is not fair to anyone, but the growth that we are seeing in these markets is in of a skill that we know that the market is demanding this. One small aspect of this is with the Webex platform that Gamma has enhanced. For instance, it is very easy to configure and manage a customer that sits in multiple countries because it's one single platform, right? So you have customer with locations in Spain, in Portugal, in Italy, no problem. You can serve them all from one single location. That's another aspect. Companies with multiple locations, it can be in country or internationally, you can serve them as a channel partner. Don't walk away if it's a company that's a little bit more complicated, because it's a cloud platform that offers you that skill and the reach. Other element is we are also one of the biggest cyber security companies in the world, and security and all aspects around this is part of the platform from the ground up. It's part of the design. And that's why we're now talking about SMB, but we always give the example, a lot of the governments across the world use Webex for the most critical communication flows as well. We come from that space. We have now made this ready for SMB, and we see that growth rate.
Okay, Marcel. So I think you have already give the right topics and points why a partner has to choose Webex. I think it's been clear about what you have
It's the best platform.
we are sure, and I'm sure of this. Okay, so I think now we have explained it and discussed it, a lot of reasons, and you have mentioned why the partners now they have to choose Webex, and I would like to finish this part of the webinar talking about why the partners will choose Gamma. Right? I think they can choose Gamma not for our experience that we have done in the market, so because the past is the past, now the important is the future. So for us now, the next 5 years will be 5 years of transformation, not only for our company, transformation for the channel partners, transformation in the solution types that we offer to the market. And now we have started this transformation since last year when we started to work with Cisco and Cisco Webex. And with this transformation, we will be the right company for the channel partners, giving them different models to go to market. If they are a reseller, telephony reseller, we give them the model, the solution, and the go-to-market tools to give them all the facilities to still to be resellers, but to adopt Webex to sell the product to the end user. But if they want the dealer model, because in Spain there are a lot of dealers that they don't want to be an operator-like company, and they prefer a dealer model, we have in this space a model, a commercial model for them to make more easy to sell Webex. They don't need to be an operator. They not to be granted by the regulator.
Exactly.
They don't need to do all the hard work in paperwork and all the mandatory things that you have to complain as an operator. But we give them a solution to have the control of the end customer, to invoice by themselves to the end customer, but they don't need to be an operator. Okay? So I think this is important for the smaller and mid-sized channel partners. So that's Gamma. We have created all the right commercial tools, pricing models, and incentive plans, which is important, and the trainings plans to support them and to help them to develop the Webex business into the Spanish market for the next 5 years at least. So
I would say, vamos.
vamos. Okay, so thanks a lot for your time, Marcel, for your insights. So we are very, very happy to start this collaboration with Cisco, not only in UK and Europe, but specifically in Spain. And Marcel is supporting us in many aspects in the go-to-market, and Marcel and his team. And we will do another sessions more in detail of the product, to go more in detail, and we encourage our channel partners to go to our website, so gammacom.es, and we have a specific part into the website, or to call to us, and our sales team, our channel team will support you into this new journey and to develop this new exciting opportunity. And let's hope that in 5 years' time we will be back here. You and me, and not to Spanish, but not to AI agents on the table.
No.
Okay, thanks, Marcel.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to all of us. Thank you. Bye.